Good morning, loves. Welcome to our last light talk from my book, Awakening the Light Warrior Within. This is the last light talk in this series based on the last chapter of the book, which is Light Warrior. And today we're going to talk about awakening the light warrior within all of us and how we live intentionally as light warriors. I just want to say thank you for being here on this journey with me over these past few months and sharing in these light talks with me as we went through, each chapter of the book. We've talked about so many different things, and I want to thank you for taking the time to be here with me and sharing in these moments. I hope that wherever you are having a wonderful day, or at least a wonderful start to the day. It is early. It is 9:30 in the morning here, but we are going to do our best to be awake and to be energized and to not stumble through this. So just thank you for being here with me. I hope wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day, and I hope that this talk guides you and inspires you and rejuvenates you and restores you. So with that, we are going to start with a prayer like we do every single light talk. And for today, I've picked out the Shantideva prayer, which is part of the light talk, the Instances of Light card deck. So if you have that, you can recite it with me. If not, you can just hold space as we walk through this prayer. So wherever you are, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Keep your eyes closed if you can. If you're doing anything that requires your focus, or if you're doing anything that requires your attention, please keep your eyes open. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. Just, slow your breathing, hold some space with us. But if you have the opportunity to this morning, if you have the opportunity to take some time for yourself, to center in and ground yourself, and to return home to your center, let's just take a few minutes together. So breathe in and out through your nose deeply. Your breathing should feel effortless. It should feel comfortable. It should feel easy. Continue to breathe in and out through your nose. And we're going to say this prayer together. We're going to say the Shantideva prayer together. And I want you just to extend light out to the world, extend it out to your family, to your loved ones, to your friends, to your acquaintances, to your colleagues, to your community, to all the people that are suffering in the world, who are grieving, who are going through loss, who are struggling with persecution. Let's just send love and light out to everyone in the world. Let it envelop the planet. Let it drape the planet in light. And let's say this prayer together. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. And so it is. Take another deep breath in through your nose, exhaling through your nose. And when you're ready, just start coming back and settle back into your body. Feel the seat below you. And let's get settled in for today's light talk. So, thank you. Thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. If I look tired and puffy, it's because I am. We had a very long night of trying to build IKEA furniture which if you've built IKEA furniture, you can share in our misery and our struggle. But just thank you for being here with me on this Sunday morning. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day. So let's talk about how we awaken the light warrior within us and how we choose to be a light warrior and live with intention. And I just want to say that if you're here, it's because you've already awakened something within you. You've already awakened to the light that lies within. And I want to acknowledge you for that. I want to acknowledge you for being on this journey. I want to acknowledge you for taking the time to be here and listen to these light talks week after week, whether you're here with us live or you're catching the replays on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or on my website, wherever that may be. I know that there are so many of us that are watching these from different areas and different platforms and different geographical areas and times throughout the globe. So I just want to thank you so much for being here. And like I said, being a light warrior, choosing to live the light, choosing to live as a light warrior is an intentional decision. And if you're here, you've already made that decision. If you're here, you've already awakened to the fact that there is something bigger within you, that there is a light within you that is within you, but not of you, that there is a divine spark that lies within. And there are three things that we keep coming back to as light warriors on our practice. We've talked about so many different things throughout our journey here. Throughout the past few weeks, we've talked about self-love and self-care. We've talked about boundaries. We've talked about faith and spiritual practice. We've talked about forgiveness. We've talked about letting go. We've talked about acceptance. We've talked about so many different things. But at their core, we keep coming back to three things that, in the book and in life, I like to call the tools of the warrior. And that is faith, hope, and love. These are the three tools of the warrior. And we keep coming back to these over and over and over again in our lives through different practices and through different intentions and through different practices. But these are the three tools that we keep coming back to over and over and over again. And these are the three tools that are the underlying threads of so much that we do and that we've done here on our journey together. So I want to start by talking about the first one, which is faith. And I want to talk about what that means and how we practice that on a day-to-day basis. In the book, I refer to this as rising above our thoughts. I hadn't really understood the power of our thoughts, the power of the things that we choose to believe and to say to ourselves on a moment-by-moment basis. Until a few years ago, when I was recovering from surgery. I had gone in for what I thought would be a very, very simple surgery. I had even told my employer, then, my team at work, that I'll only be out for 2 to 3 days, and then, I'll be back at it. It's going to be very minor. The recovery is very minor as well. No big deal. And I went in for surgery, and it ended up being a much bigger surgery than I had anticipated. I ended up having a much bigger wound than I had anticipated, with a large open wound on my lower back. And what I had originally thought was going to be 2 to 3 days off of work ended up being about 8 weeks off of work. 8 weeks where I could barely stand. I couldn't walk much. Lying down was painful. Sitting for any extended period of time was painful. And I had this giant wound on my back that needed to heal on its own. That there was no way for me to, or for the doctors or the nurses to accelerate that process for me. We needed the skin to give it a chance to heal. We needed the flesh to fill back in and to start to regenerate itself. And so, not knowing what I was doing, I had a spiritual practice and a meditation practice that I relied on and that I, used daily. And I would sit every single morning, sometimes more than once a day, depending on how I was feeling. And I would just sit in meditation and I would bring in light. And that's the Light Warrior meditation that's included in this book, and that we've talked about as well in some of these light talks. And I would just spend time every single day calling in light, filling myself up with light, and just letting it permeate every area of my being. And I didn't attach it to my healing. I didn't attach it to my recovery. I just let myself be filled with light. I would call in light, and I would let myself be filled by it. And throughout this time, I was going to the clinic on a daily basis to have all of my bandages changed because I had an open wound. They had to stuff it, full of bandages. And I remember at the beginning going for these appointments, and they told me that, based on the size of this wound, it would probably take about 4 months for it to heal. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, 4 months, here I was thinking, 2 to 3 days and life would get back to normal. And now they're telling me 4 months of pain, of lack of mobility, of not being able to sit for a long period of time, of not even being able to sit in the car because I had already ended up in the emergency once because a blood vessel had ruptured and I was hemorrhaging. I couldn't sit in the car or be in the car for long periods of time because just the vibration and the quality of our roads here in Quebec meant that it would be very easy with an open wound to rupture another blood vessel and for that hemorrhaging to start again. And so I was going to be facing, 4 months of this. And I chose not to accept that. I chose not to believe their verdict of my diagnosis, and just to keep concentrating on doing what I could do, which was just taking care of myself, resting as much as I could. And whenever I could manage to sit on my meditation pillow, I would sit on my meditation pillow and I would call in this light. And what we started to see over the course of a few days, and then over a couple of weeks, was that the wound was closing at rates that the nurses had never seen before. I would observe them throughout these appointments, looking at their sheets. They would be taking down notes and they'd be looking at it like puzzled, and I'd be like, is everything okay? Is something wrong? Because I'd see this concerned look on their face. And they'd be like, this isn't right. They're like, who did you see yesterday? And I was like, well, I saw you yesterday. You tended to my wound yesterday. And they would look back their notes and they were like, yeah, it was me who tended to you yesterday. And I'm like, why? What's the problem? They're like, well, your wound reduced by half the size since yesterday. And like, it's not possible. Did we measure wrong? And I was like, I don't think you measured wrong. It was you who did it both times. And then, that would happen once, it would happen twice, it would happen over and over and over again. And I would look at them and they would have this puzzled look on their faces that they had never seen the body heal itself so quickly. They had never seen skin regenerate itself so quickly. And to the point where they would have to come in with liquid nitrogen to burn back the skin because it was healing too quickly and they needed to slow it down. And this was the first time that I really realized the power of our thoughts, the power of not accepting the realities that others choose to dictate to us or to bestow upon us. This was the first time that I realized that we have the power to rise above our thoughts, to choose our own reality, to choose our own future, to not accept the verdicts that others are establishing for us. And through this, we anchor ourselves deeper into our spiritual practices. We anchor ourselves deeper into our faith that we can live the lives that we want to live, that we are capable of more than we give ourselves credit for. Faith that there is a power greater than ourselves. Faith that there is a plan for our lives that is beyond what we can see and desire for our own lives. And, a few months after this, I hadn't really connected all of the dots yet. I just knew that I was doing something that was working, and that was causing me to heal faster and to regenerate my body faster. And then a few months later, I went to a talk that was being given in Montreal with my bestie by Eckhart Tolle. And it was in this talk that he put out the concept of rising above our thoughts. We've got these thought forms, and some of them are ours, some of them aren't. Some of them are instilled upon us by our families, by our loved ones, by society, by our culture. But we have all of these thought forms, and we get to choose where we want to live with regards to these thought forms. We can choose to rise above them, to live at a higher vibration, to live at a higher frequency. We can choose to accept them as they are, and to vibrate and to live and to resonate at a lower frequency. And so through our spiritual practice, through meditation, through grounding ourselves and centering ourselves and prayer and bringing in this light and allowing this light to fill us and permeate us, we get to raise those vibrations. We get to elevate those vibrations, to live at a higher frequency, to rise above our thoughts, so that the thoughts that we have, the thoughts of our ego, the thoughts of our fear-based mind, the thoughts of society, are not dictating our reality, and they are not dictating our future. We can rise above them. We can choose to live at a higher frequency and a higher vibration. And this is how we anchor into our faith. And this is how we get to strengthen that muscle. And I apologize for the background noise. The little one is having a blast, rolling around and playing in the living room. So this is the first one. This is faith. This is how we continue to sharpen and hone and tap into our faith, is by rising above our thoughts, by living at a higher frequency and at a higher vibration, by choosing to anchor in and to center and ground ourselves in every single moment and in every single day, every single week, every single month. So that's the first one. That's faith. The second is love. And I refer to this as seeing through the lenses of love. And what I mean by that is looking for the innocence in others, looking for our shared humanity. Earlier this week, I gave a little mini light talk on Instagram about acceptance versus tolerance, and I'll tag that, upload that. I'll find a way to make that available if you haven't seen it. But throughout life, we talked a lot about forgiveness. We talked a lot about compassion. We extend compassion. We extend forgiveness to others. We bestow forgiveness upon others, because forgiveness is very much a gift that we give to ourselves and to others. But we do it by looking through the lenses of love, by looking through the lens of love and seeing the innocence in others. And what I mean by that is finding our humanity and seeing it reflected in each other. There are so many things that are happening in the world right now. There are so many people that are out there causing harm. Some of it is intentional, some of it is unintentional, some of it is unconsciously. And it goes off of the notion that people who are in pain cause pain in the world. They inflict pain upon others and inflict pain upon the world. And it's not always intentional. Sometimes it is just their means of trying to navigate their own pain and their own suffering without support, without tools, without resources, that cause them to make decisions that will inadvertently cause pain and suffering to others and to the world. And then there's the other side of that coin, which is those who do it intentionally. And I say intentionally, and I use that with a grain of salt as well, because often what we see is that it's not so much that we want to cause pain to other people, it's just that we are struggling so much to live and deal with our own pain, that we think incorrectly that causing pain to others will allow us to deflect some of our own pain and for a moment find relief, which isn't the case. We can't deflect our pain. We can't take our pain and shift it onto someone else. But this mistaken notion causes us to sometimes intentionally cause pain to others and to hurt others in different ways. And so when I say look for the innocence in others, what I'm saying is look for the suffering in other people. Those who cause pain, those who cause chaos in the world, those who are wreaking havoc. Look beyond what's on the surface. Look beyond the pain that they are causing. Look beyond the suffering that they are instilling on others or on the world. and look for the innocence that lies within them. Look for the inner child that is suffering, the inner child that is in pain. Look for that piece of humanity that lives within them. And this might be something that they are not cognizant of. That's not something that they perhaps recognize in themselves. And they don't need to recognize it in themselves for us to see it in them. We don't need them to be aware of their pain or aware of their suffering for us to recognize the innocence, the inner child that lives within them. But through doing this, through looking for their innocence, through looking through the lens of love, we get to anchor into our compassion. We get to bring ourselves home to our center, to our humanity, and recognize that we are all here and we are all suffering together, that we are all living this human existence that at times can be very painful. We live in a really beautiful world, but sometimes it is also breathtakingly painful. And we all live that in different ways. And so looking through the lenses of love, looking through compassion, allows us to see that innocence in other people. And it allows us, more importantly, to pray for them, pray for their love and their happiness and their well-being, for praying for them to be free of, suffering and mental anxiety. It allows us to tap into our compassion, and it allows us to live through love, which is the second tool of the warrior. Living through love, living through light, sharing that light and that love with others through compassion. And the more that we share love with others, the more that we share our light with others, the more of it we have to give to ourselves. The more of it we can give to ourselves, the more of it we can give to others. And so we live in this circle, we live in this cycle. So love is the second tool. The third is hope. And as we walk our paths, all of our paths are uniquely different. They're vastly different. We all go through, while we all have a shared human experience, just rehydrating. While we all have this shared human experience, we all live through pain and suffering in very different ways. And in that, our paths are extremely unique. And the path of the light warrior means walking that path, experiencing all of those hardships, those struggles, all of that pain, looking at all of our wounds. And instead of ignoring them, instead of suppressing them, which causes us to be one of those human beings who causes pain for other people and deflects pain onto other people, walking our path, looking at all of our hardships, looking at all of our struggles, all of our challenges, all of our wounds, we get to use that pain as a vessel for growth, for transformation, for healing. And the more that we do this, the more that we commit to walking our own paths, the more that we commit to walking through the fire, to living through these challenges and these hard moments, the more that we commit to feeling our pain, however excruciatingly painful it may be, the more we commit to doing this, the more we become an example for others, the more our story, our journey becomes an example for others. And in that example, we get to instill hope for others and hope for ourselves. Because when we see someone else who is struggling through a hardship and we see them overcoming it, when we see somebody who is in pain and they are letting that pain and that suffering shape them and transform them and emerge as someone new, as someone stronger, as someone more vibrant and more luminous, we give hope. We give hope that in our own personal struggles, we too can grow, we too can transform, we too can heal. And we give hope for ourselves in the sense that in the future, when we are going through different challenges and different struggles and different hardships, we have the proof, the spiritual proof, the spiritual evidence that we've been through the fire before. We've been on this journey. We've come through these obstacles. We've come through hardships before and we have overcome them. We have survived them. We have walked through the fire. We have hit our knees. We have hit rock bottoms and we have picked ourselves back up. We have emerged from the darkness time and time again. And through the example of that, we get to instill a sense of hope within ourselves. And through that hope, we get to refine, again, the third tool that is one of the three tools of the warrior. So faith, love, and hope, the three tools of the warrior. As we walk through our journeys, we get to continue to hone them, to sharpen our metaphorical blades, so that we have these tools ready, and we can live intentionally as light warriors. We can intentionally choose faith. We can intentionally choose love and to see the innocence of others. We can intentionally choose to walk through the fire of our pain and our hardships, in order to heal, transform, and grow, and provide hope to others who are in the darkness and who are struggling. And as we walk our path, we blaze the path for those who walk beside us. As we walk our path, we blaze the path for our fellow warriors who become part of our tribe. And I want to say that we are warriors not because we have gone through pain, or we have gone through suffering, or we have gone through hardship. We are warriors because we keep coming back. This journey is it's not a one-stop shop. It's not a one-stop destination where we practice forgiveness once and we're done. We practice compassion once and we're done. We've been through one rock bottom or one hardship or one painful experience, and now we're done. Now we are warriors. We are warriors because we keep coming back, and we deliberately make that choice to keep coming back to forgiveness, to keep coming back to love, to keep coming back to hope, to faith, to keep walking through the fire. That's what makes us warriors, is that intentional decision to keep coming back to love, to faith, to hope, to compassion, to acceptance, to keep coming back over and over and over again, because we are never done. We are never done. For as long as we are living, the world will throw more our way. The more we are living, the more wounds we will unearth within ourselves. The more we are living, the more pain and hardship we will encounter. But as warriors, we get to come back and choose to intentionally keep living through these tools, to intentionally keep walking through the fire. We are warriors because we are here to win the war and not the battle. And I say the war metaphorically because we are here to win the war against our ego, the war against fear, the war against hatred in our society and in ourselves, the war against discrimination, the war against persecution. We are here to keep showing up and to keep being the light. We are here to keep showing up and being the light for those who are stuck in the darkness and need a guide out of it. We are here to be the voice for those who are voiceless. And as we live on this path, as we choose this path, our light will attract our tribe. It will attract our fellow warriors. It will attract those who are meant to walk this path with us. And our tribe, our collective of warriors, they are our beacon. They guide us home through the hard moments. When we are stuck in the mad thoughts of the idea of the ego, they are our sounding boards. When we are stuck in the darkness, they are the light that guides us back home to ourselves, to our internal light, to our compassion, to our love, to our faith. So as you walk this journey, as you practice these tools and these principles, you will find other warriors attracted to your path and attracted to your light, and these will become your tribe. And the only thing I will say is cherish them, and cherish them deeply, because they are our touch trees. They allow us to come home to ourselves, to our center, to our sacredness, to our holiness. They allow us to walk this path of sometimes pain and sometimes joy. They allow us to lean into our happiness and our love and our peace and our stillness. They allow us to tap into the wholeness that lies within us. When we are on our path and we are feeling incomplete and we are feeling broken, they allow us to heal through the examples that they set for themselves, and they get to heal through the examples that we live for ourselves. So as your journey, as your light attracts in your tribe, cherish them deeply, because it takes more than one of us to change this world. Each one of us will play our part, but the more of us that choose to live intentionally, the more we inspire others to live intentionally and to live through love and to live through hope and to live through faith, to live through seeing the light and the innocence in others. And the more of us that collectively make this choice, the more that we get to shift our world, the more that we get to shift our collective consciousness and bring more light and love into this world, into a world that is in deep, deep, deep need right now of love and light and compassion and acceptance. So on that, I want to thank you again for being here. We are going to end with the Light Warrior Manifesto, which is in the book on page 195. We'll end on this. And as I open it up, I find, another one of the instances of light cards from the card deck. I'm sure you can see that. I illuminate the journey for myself and for others. And that is what it means to be a light warrior. It means to intentionally choose light and love and compassion. And as we do this, we illuminate our path and we illuminate the path for others who are walking beside us. So, the manifesto of the light warrior. We recognize the light as a presence within us all of us. It is the fiber that connects us, and through it we find our shared humanity. We will stumble and fall. We will make mistakes, and some days we will wonder what it's all for. But in the simplest of moments, encountering the smile of a child, the sun shining through the trees, we remember our center. Some days we will question the warrior within. We will question our path and our purpose, and it is precisely because we question that we are warriors. We see fear as our compass and our hearts as our true north. We recognize all definitions of love and light as one and the same, despite the labels associated with them. We embrace all of who we are, our faults and our jagged edges, as well as all of the polished and pretty parts, because it is the intricacies and some of these parts that create the unique expression that we are here to share with the world. We speak bravely, even when our voice quivers, and stand against injustice. We fight for love, equality, our planet, and more importantly, each other. We recognize that which is not love is a call for love. We practice forgiveness and refuse to run from pain or hardship. We know that our worth is inherent and that our light is within us but not of us. The divine spark that lies within us is our power, our way home. It cannot be altered and it cannot be diminished. This is our path and this is our journey. We are beacons of love and light, defenders of it. We seek it, embody it, spread it, and fight for it. We are the Light Warriors. So with that, I just want to thank you so much for being here again, for being on this journey with me, for being part of these light talks week after week over the past few months. Just thank you so much for spending your time here with me as we walk through this journey together. I hope that it was illuminating, that it was inspiring, that it was heartfelt and restorative and rejuvenating. I hope that you took something from this, and if you've missed any of the past light talks, they are all available on Instagram. If you scroll over to my Instagram stories, you will find all of them there. Sorry, not my Instagram stories, my IGTV. You'll find all of them there. They are on Facebook, they are on YouTube. If you're looking for a consolidated area where all of these tools live, you can go to davidD.ca/warrior-tools. I will put the link in the comments as well. It's also in my Instagram bio. And there you can find all of the previous light talks. You can find free meditations from the book. You can find the Instances of Light card deck, which has a free version as well if you want to sample the cards and see what they're like and try using them in your practice, as well as a whole bunch of other bonuses and other things that we are constantly adding to it. So davidD.ca/warrior-tools, and everything is there. All of these light talks are there consolidated in one place. So thank you so much for being here, for being with me, for spending this time with me. I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate you, and I honor your commitment to awakening the light warrior that lies within you, to reclaiming your worth, to taking back your power. And I just want to honor you for that decision, for intentionally choosing to live with love and with compassion and with faith and with hope, for intentionally choosing to live in your light and allowing that light to be a beacon of light for others and those around you. So wherever you are in the world, whenever you are catching this, whenever you are watching this replay, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I send you my deepest, deepest gratitude and love. And I look forward to our paths crossing again. And there will be many more light talks in the future. There will be many, 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 many more opportunities for us to connect through different platforms and through different talks. So I look forward to our paths crossing again. And again, my deepest, deepest gratitude for being here. Sending you all love on this beautiful Sunday morning.